¿Qué onda? Thanks for watching Doing Life with Jenny. If you're new here, I'm a Spanish teacher in the US and I'm moving to Mexico, to the state of Hidalgo, soon. If you can't tell, I am a Beagle mom. This is Ruthie Ann and Lola, and I'm rocking my Beagle sweater. Today I'm telling you about my encounter with the police in Mexico, as well as my other experiences when it comes to safety. First, let me tell you about a website I discovered the other day when making another video that touched on safety a little bit. It is called semaforo.com.mx, means stoplight, which you'll see why here in a second. If you go to the top right of the screen, you can choose the state that you live in or that you're visiting, and then it will break down the safety by categories like homicides, rapes, and whatnot. Obviously, red is horrible and green is good, and they do update it because I looked at my state, the state of Hidalgo. Lola. Hey. I don't know what she's doing. But they do update the website because I looked at the town I'm moving to, and I know that there was an incident a couple weeks ago, and I see it's reflected in the changing of the color on the stoplight. For safety reasons, I prefer not to share the exact town I'll be moving to, but basically I'm saying I'm moving to Pachuca, Hidalgo. So getting to my personal experiences when it comes to safety in Mexico, I feel very safe. I've never personally had a bad experience. There's lots of police and security presence. You'll see the federal police out and about. You might see the local police. It's easy to spot because they have huge guns. I don't know my guns, but they're not like the little handguns that the police in the US have. They are ginormous. And it can be kind of intimidating if you're not used to that, but like, I don't think anybody's going to try anything when they see this guy with this huge gun walking around supervising people. But anytime you go into a major store, a mall, the entrance to a gated community, there's almost always a security guard. Whether or not they're good for anything, I'm not sure, but it kind of gives me peace of mind that somebody is there, I guess kind of keeping an eye out. I don't recall if it was a security guard or a police officer, but he definitely had one of those huge guns on his side. But when I went to Tula de Allende, I was trying to find an ATM to get a little money, and this security guard or police officer with this ginormous gun was standing guard because the ATM was being repaired, just to make sure nobody came and tried to steal the money. So I just feel like there's lots of presence everywhere you turn around. There's some kind of officer or security guard. In the US, yes, there are police officers, yes, there are security guards, but I feel like they have a bigger presence in Mexico. Like at the mall, I feel like the security guard is kind of hiding in the office, maybe watching the cameras or taking a nap, I don't know. But in the malls in Mexico, like you'll see them as soon as you walk in, like you know they are there, they're not hiding. Next, I also notice a lot of security when it comes to taking the buses. Mexico has a lovely bus system, but you're going to go through a metal detector, they're going to pat you down, they're going to check your bags before you get on the bus, and then depending on which bus line or what city you're traveling to or from, they're also going to have a security guard or police officer come and make sure they get a video of everybody's face that is on the bus. Again, maybe I should be scared that that is deemed necessary, but it also gives me peace of mind because if something were to happen, like, they know who was on that bus. I have a few more comments about my general sense of security in Mexico before I tell you my personal experience with a police officer in Mexico. Once I decided where in Mexico I was going to live, I joined the Facebook group for my town and the neighboring major city, which is also the capital, Pachuca. And my following comment is not implying everybody is honest. Everybody isn't. I've seen plenty of stories where people have had their stuff stolen in Mexico or have had bad experiences. It happens, okay? I just don't want you to have the impression that everything in regards to safety is negative in Mexico or that you should be like walking around on eggshells. That's not so much the case. But anyway, in these Facebook groups, several times, and I've only been in this group for about a year, but several times I have seen people saying they found a lost phone, or just a couple days ago they found a lost AirPod and trying to find the owner. So there are a lot of good people that do the right things. I mean, let's be honest, sometimes if you lose your stuff, it's gone for good. Same thing in the US, but like I'm saying, there are lots of good people there trying to do the right thing. As I've mentioned in several videos now, in Mexico you usually don't have a fence around your property, you have a barda, which is a cement wall, and that also just gives you a sense of security because it's not super easy to hop over like a fence would be. It's going to take some effort for them to get into your house. This last thing, before I tell you about the encounter with the police officer, I do not recommend. I know it is not the safest thing to do, but we'll say I'm careful just in case any family or friends are watching this. But I have met several people off of Tinder in Mexico, in various cities throughout Mexico. I feel super, super, super safe meeting up with them for dinner, going out to dance or something. No big deal. I have even gotten in the car with some of them, which you should not do. I should not have done it. But you know, you kind of follow your intuition, and I have been more careful about it the older I get. But you know, you can kind of tell if someone has bad intentions or not, for the most part. Don't do it, because you can't always tell. But I'm just being honest that I do stupid stuff like this because I am a single female, and it's kind of the stereotype that, you know, if you're a single female traveler, something is going to go wrong if you're not accompanied by somebody else. Yes, you need to be careful, but it's not like that. Like, people are proud of their country, they're proud of their town, they want to show you around, they're curious to get to know you because you're a foreigner, they want to practice their English with you or something. Like, the majority of people are good. And lastly, my encounter with the Mexican police. Just a couple weeks ago, when I went down there to check on the land dispute and check on the construction of my house, I obviously went to my house and I filmed a video for you guys. That was the last video, it was the house tour. Well, while I was filming the video, I just see this man's head poke like around the corner because like the house isn't completely blocked off. As you've seen, it's not finished yet. Like, anybody can just walk in there and hang out. So I just see this head poking around the corner, and I thought it was just somebody walking by, like, wondering why in the world is this gringa speaking English here in this particular town, because like foreigners don't usually go to this town. They for sure don't go to that neighborhood, maybe to the center, maybe to the market or something, but not to this area of the town I was in. So I was almost finished with the video, I wrapped it up, and then I stepped outside of the house and I saw it was a police officer on his motorcycle. So I just said, "Hi, I'm the owner, I'm just coming to check on the construction, taking a video." He's like, "Oh yeah, no worries, I was just seeing what was going on, just making sure there aren't any kids in here being stupid." And I just honestly really appreciated that from him, because people have a bad impression of the police in Mexico, and honestly, rightfully so in many cases. A lot of times they can be bribed or whatnot. But it just made me feel good that he was just out and about. Something looked a little questionable to him, so he investigated it. It made me feel really safe that even if he wouldn't have stopped at my house necessarily, that he's just out and about, going through the neighborhood and like checking on things, you know? Because there could have been some kids goofing off in there, somebody drawing graffiti or who knows what. So I made it a point to post on one of the Facebook groups that I had this encounter and to thank the officer, even though I don't know if the message got to him, but maybe somebody passed the message along. But yeah, as I've said in a few videos, I have had nothing but great experiences. I have never had a situation where I even felt unsafe, and for sure have never had a situation where something happened to me. I also know it could be just a matter of time before something does happen. Stuff happens in any country. thank you so much for watching today's video. If you've had any encounters with police officers, security guards, or anything related to safety in Mexico, I would love to hear about your experiences in the comments section. If you would like to continue and follow me in my journey in moving from the US to Mexico, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next video.